of certain states not choosing it, including Texas, is the fact that the law, the ACA was not designed for these low-income situations. They were planned to be put under extension of Medicaid. And so do you see a lot of that coming by your foresights?
We did initially. I think there's been a lot of education around that. So we see less people who fall in the coverage gap. However, there's an exception people don't know about. For lawfully present immigrants, who generally are people who have a green card for less than 5 years, they actually can qualify for tax credits below 100%, but almost no one is aware of that. So people who could be covered aren't aware, so they're not taking advantage of it.
Yeah, and Michael, you might want to speak to this, is the fact that these people that are left out in those, I think, 13 states that chose not to extend Medicaid, the people that are left out that fall into this income gap, they will not be penalized.
Yeah, they will not be penalized, but
that doesn't mean they're going to be insured. Yeah. Okay, so you're down, but we're not going to hit you. Okay, and that brings me back to the second big topic, and I think that the most important topic to those who are listening in and are concerned about health care and health insurance, and that is the deadline, 31 March 2014. Do you want to speak to that, Elizabeth?
Yes, the deadline to enroll is this hard deadline of March 31st. There are special circumstances that you can use to enroll after that, such as you lose a job, you get married, you get divorced, you have a child, those type of qualifying events, you can enroll. However, getting sick, getting hit by a bus, needing health insurance, those are not qualifying events. You can't wait till you need insurance to enroll.
Yes, we don't post-insure against sickness or accident. Yeah, again, a Kaiser survey estimates that 75% of the eligible uninsured are unaware of the deadline. So can we repeat the deadline?
The deadline is March 31st, and I encourage people, don't wait until March 31st because the enrollment process itself takes time. It's not something you can do in 15 minutes on March 31st. You really need to get started now.
Okay, so let's say that the people out there that do know about the deadline and do know about the law, but hold it as an unfavorable option for them, they choose not to. What exactly happens? I mean, 31st comes. Will they be eligible for anything in 2014?
Well, it depends. They may have a qualifying event that allows them to enroll at a later date, such as losing a job or increasing their income above.
For instance, if I miss the deadline and lose my job and my health insurance, I can go down and enroll.
Yes, you can enroll at that. And then otherwise, if you don't have a qualifying event, you're going to have to wait to the next enrollment period to get insurance in 2015.
Yeah, those of us who have been doing this for a little bit know this as the open season, usually in the fall. And it's a time when you get to review all of the available health care policies that are available to you. And now everybody has that option. And you look at them, you study them, and then by the first of the year you sign up, you make those changes. Now, one of the things that I understand that these penalties that we talked about, they're on a sliding scale. So it is based on income and things like that?
It's actually, well, I wouldn't call it a sliding fee scale because it's the greater of two numbers. So there's a fixed amount of $95 per uninsured adult, half of that, $47.50 for each uninsured child on your tax return, or 1% of your income above the filing threshold. And it's the greater of the two, and so it's that 1% that's going to get most people.
Yeah, so depending on your income level and your choices, don't be surprised when these penalties arrive. Now, where will you see these penalties? Where do they show up?
They will show up when you file your taxes in 2015.
Okay, so that'll be this time next April. So, okay. Now, exemptions. You mentioned some of them, and I think these are very interesting too, because a lot of people have asked me, well, what happens if? And some of the bigger ones are, what if you move out of the state into another state? What happens?
Well, moving is a qualifying event, so at that point you can enroll in insurance in that other state.
Okay, I'm uninsured now, but my wife has a baby. Is that a qualifying event?
Once the child is born, that is a qualifying event.
Yeah, I want to make that perfectly clear. Also, Medicare eligible individuals need do nothing. Okay, this is another thing, and I think part of what Michael can speak to more succinctly, the misrepresentations is that if you are under Medicare, you don't have to do anything at all.
Right.
And I think a lot of what we'll talk about in the second half, time permitting, is the misrepresentations, not only of facts and numbers, but of individuals. These, individual cases that are being cited by all sides of this issue. One of the things I wanted to get back to is that if you are insured in any way and lose your insurance for whatever reason, this, what I call the marketplace, is open to you?
Yes, the only people who cannot purchase on the marketplace are the undocumented and people who are incarcerated. But otherwise, the marketplace is open to everyone.
Okay. Now, the marketplace. You have right now 4 centers under Insure Central Texas that are open, and I imagine are quite busy right now?
We are definitely getting busier.
Yeah, getting busier. Will you be open between now and through the end of the year, for instance, or are you just going to fade away with the deadline as well?
No, we're open 7 days a week between now and March 31st, and then after March 31st, we will also be open to assist people with these qualifying events, changes to their application, issues that they have with their insurer. So people can visit our website, insurecentraltexas.org, to find our hours after March 31st.
And it's very interesting too, because I want to make it very clear, we're not pushing anybody in any direction. We're just trying to tell you what's out there, what the time frames are. If you so choose, for whatever reason, no one's here to judge whatever that reason is. If you choose not to enroll this year, you can enroll next year. It's a year-by-year process, and every November 15th, the open season will begin, and you have a chance to insure yourself for the coming year. So let me take a look at my notes. Yeah, we were talking about this offline. You think the government is going to take any position on the craziness that ensued with their rollout relative to this first year? They've already made some concessions, as Michael can attest again, about pushing things off into the future.
Right, they've moved some of the deadlines and the mandates, which I have mixed feelings about. But it's clearly not only to accommodate the difficulties with the rollout and the website, but also because of the political context.
In fact, there's some political capital to be gained and expended by doing these things. And when we get back, we're going to take a little break here and put on a couple of announcements. But when we get back, I wanted to talk about some of the other things that might be concerning those who are going to show up, and that is why not enroll? Get into some of that. And also some of these misrepresentations that we've been seeing on, particularly now during this heavily advertised political season here in Texas.